All right, so you're going to set up your data binders, which is where you're going to track how well you're doing on pre and post tests, and whenever we kind of have other quizzes in class, you'll get to put those in. That way you'll know where you're at, and it'll be an easy way to see how well you're doing. So the first step is you're going to be in Canvas. You're going to go to Courses and Groups, select American History, and then you're either going to click Curriculum or Modules. It takes you to the same place. Once you're there, you're going to click this Data Binder Copy under Class Resources right at the top. And that takes you to a link to a Google Doc. So you're going to click that. And it should look like this. The first thing that you need to do is make a copy of it. So you're going to go up to File, Make a Copy. And you are going to relabel this document. Everyone's is going to look the same, so you need to follow the directions very closely. You're going to put your hour. So if I'm first hour, I'm putting a 1, second hour 2, third hour 3, etc. I'll do 6 for 6th hour. Then I'm going to put my last name. So I would put Martin's. You're going to put your own last name. Okay, so Martin's, comma, then your first name. And then you're going to write Data Binder. And in caps, all caps, it's going to be history, because you're going to have an ELA one and a math one and maybe a science one. So you need to be able to easily see which one is which when you're in class. Then you are going to hit OK. All right, so this is what it should look like at the top if you did it right. This next thing you're going to do before you do anything else is you're going to come over to this share button, click share, and then you're going to share it with me so that I'm able to check and make sure you're keeping up with everything you need to do. So M. Martins, I'm the only Maggie Martins. Click it, and I would prefer that you let me edit it just in case we need to fix stuff. Then you're going to hit send. All right. The next thing you're going to do before you start typing stuff in is you are going to go to your email. Once you're in your email, you're going to click the boxes up here, select Drive, then you're going to go to New and select Folder. You are going to keep all of your data folders for 7th grade in this folder. You're going to label it 7th grade data folders. Okay, so whenever you're in ELA or you're in math or science or history, you're going to go to this folder in your Google Drive and it will have all of your data folders in there. So you're going to hit create that new folder and it should pop up somewhere in here. Yours may look like this or it may look like this. Regardless, with this folder, you are going to drag right down here. It has my label, 6 Martins Maggie, so yours will be your hour, last name, first name. I'm going to click that and drag it into the 7th grade data folder. Double check that it made it in there. And this will be your history folder. So if it looks like this, it's really easy to see. History, you can just click on it. All right, now that you're all set up, it's saved, you've shared it with me, now we can start typing in your data. The first thing we're going to do is just overall pre-test and post-test scores. So I should have passed out the pre-test and post-test scores for you. If I haven't, remind me, because you know I can get spacey. And here's what they're going to look like. All right. So let's say that this is your pre-test. It shows you your score overall right here. So that 50% or whatever you had would be your overall pre-test score. So I come and type it in right here, 50%. And see it shows up on my graph. It does it all for you. Now I need to go to my post-test and find my post-test overall. And I'll type that in. So my post-test was a 94. So I come over and type 94 in, hit enter, test 1 done. We have nothing for test 2 and 3 yet. When we do, you'll add those. Now we're going down to the specific standard. All right, with standard-based grading, you need to track those individual standards. The standard that we worked on for this test was A1 and B1. And those are both what I call completion standards. They're very low level. We talked about how questions make you think in different ways. And labeling the continents and the oceans is mostly recall. So it's at DOK1 level. So it's either you got it or you didn't. And if you received an 80% or better, you're going to say that you have it. Okay? So we're first going to look at the A1, and I will show you what that is on your pre and post test. We are going to ignore the check 1 and 2 for right now. Okay? So we're first going to look at our pre-test and figure out the rating that we should have. All right, so you'll notice it says A1, locate the continents and oceans. So that is going to match with our A1 standard. And this person received a 42% on their pretest for that. So we will type in A1. If it is 80 or better, 80% or better, it's a 4. If it is below 80%, it's a 1. So a 1 because it is below 80%. Okay. Then we'll look at B1, locating places and locations. 67, that's still a 1. If it is below 80%, it's a 1 because these are completion standards. Normally it'll be a little different. So that is also a 1. All right, now let's look at the post-test data. All right, so now we're going to look for A1, go over, that was 100%. So they went up a lot. So now in the post-test, they're going to put a 4 because that is above 80%. And you'll notice that as you're typing it in, it does the graphs for you. Then we're going to look at B1. B1 was a 67. Now, they didn't change a whole lot. I'm pretty sure it was the same. So that tells me and them that maybe they were a little confused and we need to work on that. Okay? So post-test, it's going to be a 1 because it's below 80% because these are completion standards. Right? Now that we have that, you kind of look at it, decide what you think. We can actually delete these zeros so that it doesn't look like you got a 0. We're just going to leave those blank for right now. And then you're going to scroll down and see where it says SMART goals and reassessments. So if I was this person, I mastered A1. But I need to work on B1 still. So the standard I'm going to type in here is B1. And it's absolute location. Okay, you can copy that from up here if you'd like. Okay. Now, if you have mastered both of them, you have 4s on both of them, you probably do not need to do this step. You do need to, however, set SMART goals and reassessments if you did not meet the standard yet. If you met it, you're still going to need to do some SMART goals. Okay, for absolute location, come up with an activity maybe that you could practice before you reassess on this. The whole point is to take the time to learn, and if you don't get it the first time, relearn it, try to get it this time, right? So that could be maybe you create a QuickTime video where you're teaching, and it doesn't have to be people in it, you could just be teaching me. You could do practice latitude and longitude points, worksheets. If you need help with that, let me know. It could be almost anything. So if you have an idea, let me know. It could be maybe you write up something. Okay? Just decide on one idea. So you're going to create one activity because you have 2 standards. So if you had both standards, you would do B1 and A1. What do you want to do? Now you're going to do SMART goals. Everyone is doing SMART goals. A SMART goal is something special. It's not just a goal. It is measurable. So goal 1, since they were at a 4 on this one, they're a 1 still on B1, maybe their SMART goal is, by the reassessment, I will score a 80% or better on the B1 standard. It could also be, by the reassessment, I will score a 4 on the B1 standard. Here are some key points. Time. There's a time set. That's what T stands for. Score a 4 or 80%. It's measurable. It's attainable. You can do this. And it's specific. Right? It's not just, I will score a 4 on the next reassessment. That doesn't tell me anything. Or that. That doesn't tell me when do I have to hold you accountable to that. Okay? If you've already mastered this, we take benchmarks in here. So you're going to need to know this stuff for benchmarks. Maybe your SMART goal is, on the benchmark, I will keep my rating of a 4 on standard A1. Okay? Then we'll look back and see if you kept it when we do benchmarks. So if you've met both of the standards, set a SMART goal for yourself for benchmarks. You most likely do not need to do any reassessments because this was a completion standard. When we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 ratings, you might have more reassessments because maybe you got a 2, but you want to try to go for that 3 this time, okay? All right, that is data binders. If you are confused, rewatch. If you are done, you're good. You can move on to the second video under today's date.